Here's the new Reilly Spider-Man figure. And Chasm, is that how you pronounce it? 5 out of 7 of the figures in this wave comes with this new design of cutback instead of having the retro cutback as usual like this. It has a more upfront picture of the character unlike the previous retro packaging. And the word Marvel Legends series are separated. Usually they are together. And looking at the figures in the clamshell, it's really kind of disappointing to see both figures barely having any accessory. Just one web shooting hands and one wall crawling hands instead of having a pair for each of them for the Reilly Spidey. And Chasm don't even have any alternate hands, just those pathetic twirly green effects. I mean, when you look at the picture of how the green stuff is kind of dissipating from him, and all we get is a pair of twirly effects. The back of the packaging has a picture of the figures instead of an artwork. And of course, it has the one sentence bio as usual. The background of the figure is an artwork of the character but in blue ink. What do you guys think of this new packaging? Do you prefer this new one or the previous one? Do share in the comments. Now let's get these figures out. First off, we have the Reilly Spider-Man. I actually can't believe that we are getting the characters from the Beyond storyline with this Reilly and Chasm and Miles Morales. And it's good that for this figure, they used the Renew Your Vows Spidey body mold. But like I've shared earlier, a downside of this wave is really the accessories. This figure comes with a pair of fists, a left web shooting hand, and right wall crawling hands. We don't even get a complete pair for the wall crawling and web shooting hands, which is really a letdown for a Spidey figure. Considering the price that we are getting, all Spidey figures should be getting at least 3 pairs of hands. For the appearance of the figure, the costume is pretty much accurate to the comics, having the spider logo kind of slightly to the side instead of centralized. And for the spider logo at the back, it is the same as the comic. It's definitely not one of my favorite spider logos. Doesn't really look that nice having the body of the spider so big. And the figure is also in red and dark grey, which is kind of comic accurate, although in the comics it does sometimes appear to be kind of like dark blue. But having the figure in this dark grey is also okay. And one thing about the figure that I noticed is that the red paintwork doesn't go all the way down and there is a gap over here. And I guess they purposely leave a gap there because the legs of the spider logo is supposed to go through the arms at this part over here, just like in the comics. So I guess in vanilla pose, he will have it down over here to the side and then connects back to the spider legs at the back. So it isn't a paintwork flaw or anything. And the most talked about this figure is the head. The eyes are really nice, it's actually really big and comic accurate, really bug-like. But the issue that most people have been talking about is that the head looks kind of too circular and looks a bit big on the body. Which I agree. The head really looks too circular. I'm not sure why they did it, maybe because they are trying to make the eyes big, but yeah. When you compare it with the standard Pizza Spidey head, you can see how much bigger and rounder this new head is. And for the paintwork of the eyes, it's really great that it is kind of pearl white. There's a slight shine to it, unlike the normal white paintwork that we get on other Spideys. The overall paintwork on my figure is okay, except for the blemish on the shoulder balls, which can't really be seen when the figure is in packaging. And another thing, when picking out the figure, one thing that irks me is this center circle between the eyes, because you really need to look out for it. I've got 4 of this figure because I got 2 cases of it, and 2 of them have the circle kind of like off center, which really kind of irks me when I see that on a Spidey figure. For articulation, just like the Renew Your Vows body, head able to tilt left and right a bit, looks up only this much, and that's already including having a notch at the back, and down only this much. Shoulder butterfly joints, arms go up to the side this much, bicep swivel, pinless double hinge elbow joints, wrist hinge and swivel. Mid-torso ball joint allows some movements to the side and also rotation. Ab crunches forward this much and to the back. This amount of split, which isn't really great for a Spidey figure actually. This amount of Van Damme split, not bad actually. Legs up to the front, this much. Thigh swivel, double hinge knee joint, pinless. Calf swivel, ankle hinge, pivot, and also the toe hinge. Really, all Spideys should have the toe hinge and also the calf swivel joint. Now, on to Chasm. Like I said earlier, I can't believe that Hasbro actually released this character quite early. And for a character which is kind of oozing with green energy, I guess it's really kind of difficult to translate that into a figure. And this is kind of the best that they can give. The character itself, but without the green energy. The figure does not come with any accessories except for this twirly green effect, which I feel isn't really that great considering the amount of energy that is oozing out of him in the comics. Since he have the hole at the back, maybe they could have done a new effect which can be attached to the back and then, you know, have it kind of spread out so that he has kind of the energy effect. But of course, Hasbro is not going to do that. And at the very least, he should have come with at least another pair of hands, specifically clawed hands, just like in the comics where he has these clawed hands. The black parts on the face is actually sculpted upwards, so it's not just like totally flat paintwork. There is a bit of sculpt on the face, but on the torso is really just totally paintwork. Same goes for the back, just paintwork. The web shooters are casted in black, but with some green shading. And it is removable. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the figure is on the Sunfire body mold. I don't understand why they didn't just use the Renew Your Vows body. This Sunfire body mold is really becoming the next Bucky Cap body, being reused so many times. And they didn't even swap out the arms to have at least the pinless arms and pinless knees. And for articulation, the Sunfire body mold has the ab crunch instead of the mid-torso ball joint and doesn't have the toe hinge joints. The neck is on the normal hinge joint, so he is able to look up better than the Renew Your Vows body mold. The Renew Your Vows body is able to do a slightly better split, but for the Van Damme split, the Renew Your Vows can do it way better. But for the movement of the shoulder butterfly joints, the Sunfire body mold has a better range. Look at that. The shoulder ball is able to reach the front of the torso and also all the way and reaches the back. But for the Renew Your Vows body mold, the shoulder ball is able to reach this front part of the torso, but at the back, you can see that it cannot reach this part. The shoulder ball doesn't reach it. This is the range of movement, and look at the range of movement for the Sunfire body mold. It's really able to go all the way back to make a more dynamic pose. So moving forward, I really hope Hasbro does their Spidey figures on the Renew Your Vows body, or at least a body mold that has a mid-torso ball joint and pinless elbow and knee joints, and not on a body mold with an ab crunch. Especially the pins. The elbow, they decided to make it black so it matches the inner side, but it does not match the outer purple side. And for a bit of size comparison, here's the cel-shaded animated Spidey and the roughed SDCC Spidey, which is on the Pizza Spidey body mold. The cel-shaded is visibly shorter and the Pizza Spidey is visibly thinner. Here's the Renew Your Vows Spidey and Retrowave Spidey. The body size is about the same for these two figures, but the head of the Retro Spidey is really smaller. The head of the new Ben Reilly Spidey should have been the same size as the Renew Your Vows head. Here's Toby and Andrew Spidey, both of them smaller in size. So for these two figures, definitely accessories are lacking, and for that matter, the whole wave is actually lacking accessories except for the rose. For Chasm, he really should have come with alternate clawed hands. Otherwise, the design and paintwork of the figure, it does match up to his appearance in the comics. And for Ben Reilly Spidey, even though the eyes look really good, I really don't like how circular the head is. I know there are some who likes that, but for me, the head should have been the same size as the Renew Your Vows Spidey. At the very least, the figure is on the Renew Your Vows body and not on the Sunfire body, so I guess that counts as a small win for us. But really, the figure should have come with 3 pairs of hands instead of the 2 pairs of hands that we got. Are these two figures worth it? I really think the whole wave is not worth it except for the rose maybe. At retail price, they should have come with more accessories and better choice of body mold, especially for Chasm. I really hope these figures go to sale price. If you guys are not really into these two new versions of Ben, might as well don't get them or wait for sale price. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe if my review helps and check out my other reviews at my channel.